So, good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to welcome you all to the USC Experience Retreat. We have a truly incredible program this morning. Today's retreat will challenge us to reimagine how we do things across both campuses and our medical enterprise. And it will redefine how our students and their parents, as well as our patients and their families, experience and benefit from the new environment we seek to create for them.
So one of the things to recognize that as we've shifted into an experience economy, it means that you are now competing against the world. You're competing against the world. You may think you're competing only against other educational institutions or healthcare institutions, only in your geographic area, only in your industry and that. But in fact, thanks to this shift to experiences, you are competing against the world for the time, the attention, and the money of individual consumers. These are the currencies of the experience economy: time, attention, and money. And time is limited. I can only experience things 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I got to fit sleep in there sometime. But if somebody does capture me and my time and gets me immersed in an experience that they're creating for me, and so I'm spending my time there, what am I not doing? I'm not spending that time with you. In the same way, in today's media fragmented world, it's increasingly difficult to capture somebody's attention. Attention is scarce today. But if somebody does capture my attention by immersing them in an experience in which I'm spending my time, then what am I not doing? I'm not giving that attention to you. In the same way, money is consumable. If I've got $1 to spend and I spend it with a different company in a different industry in a different geographic location, what can't I do with that dollar again? I can't spend it with you. It's consumed. It's gone. So you need to understand the basic principle of the experience economy, which is that the experience is the marketing. The experience is the marketing. In other words, the best way to generate demand today for any offering, whether it's a commodity, a good, a service, or even another experience, is with an experience so engaging that customers can't help but spend their time with you, give you their attention, and then spend their money as well by buying your particular offering. So one of the key things that companies the world over need to do is to stage marketing experiences. Experiences that do the job of marketing by generating demand.
We had a couple employees who were working at the Starbucks, and they recognized parents that were in line ordering drinks. And these parents were in town because their son had been critically injured and was at the hospital in really bad shape. So the parents were here visiting to take care of their son and to meet with USC, as you can imagine, completely distraught. When they got to the register to pay for their drinks, that employee had recognized them as these parents, and she simply said, "You have enough to worry about right now with what's going on with you and your family. That drink is on USC." We heard from the parents numerous times. They kept going back to the Starbucks during their visit. But I'll tell you, we talk about stories when we're meeting with our team all the time, because that's the exact type of story and that's the exact type of action that we want them to feel empowered to take.
Let me share one with you now. I normally don't like to share the failures, but this is something that happened about 1.5 years ago, where I got a letter from a patient, and it was actually not from the patient, but from the patient's daughter. And the patient's daughter was a nurse at another facility who had wanted to get her mother in to our facility for a particular procedure. And so she called our intake room and spoke with someone in intake and didn't have a good experience with that intake person. Ultimately, they had a difference of opinion of how that intake process should go. The patient's family had one expectation, and the employee had a different expectation. What was interesting is that was a referral from a referring provider, and that nurse called back to the referring provider and said, "I'd like to take my mother to another facility." And they said those dreaded words, right? What facility? UCLA, okay? As a 2-time graduate of USC, I really struggle with that. We came away from that with work to do on our organizational culture, but also a list of opportunities. And Dennis said I could only have one slide for opportunities, Dennis, so I limited it to these. We have opportunities, or now we're going to call them sacrifices, right, Joe? Because these are where we ask our patients to sacrifice. We ask them to sacrifice on scheduling, sometimes on communication, on parking, because we've added so many patients and so many employees that we're not able to keep up with the demand. We've asked them to sacrifice on the fact that they will get multiple bills, not all of which are right the first time or the second time. And we've asked them sometimes to sacrifice on our inability to communicate on next steps. So those are all things we're working on.